Alright, before we jump into this video, I just want to let you know that we don't know a whole bunch about Zenith's lore. So some of this is going to be speculation, some of it's going to be my thoughts and how I see things on the world. Doesn't mean that it's going to be correct. As they come out with new stuff, we're going to learn more about what's actually going on. So take all of this with a grain of salt. Some of this I got off of the wiki. Some of this I got off of the actual site for them. And then some of it I've pieced together myself. If you enjoy this video, make sure you let me know down below in the comments. I will try to do more of these lore videos because I like lore in games. So if you guys enjoy this, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any more lore videos that I come out with, and enjoy the video.
Hey you. Yes, I'm talking to you. Sitting right there on... never mind. Before you cross the portal into our world, there's some stuff you need to know. In our world, essence is the life force inherent in all living things that enables those versed in the old way to weave magic. The Zenithians, citizens of Zenith, harnessed essence using their amplifiers and engineers to power and run the massive city-state. Hundreds of years ago, a massive vessel from the stars commanded by the God King, Ral-Ka, crashed into our world and unleashed unspeakable horrors, creatures, and beasts upon our world. The Zenithian Council made the decision that day to close their gates, sealing off the city from all outlanders, forever dividing those within and those without. Eventually, Ral-Ka was sealed away in the darkest depths of the world, but the end of the war marked the deaths of half the peoples of our world. The only city to emerge unscathed was Zenith. Outside the city gates, people have learned to live with nature rather than rule over it. We have come to love the green, the forest, and even the dark night. But every day the seal over Ral-Ka grows weaker, and there are those who have forgotten the lessons of the past, who would see another calamity befall us. But there are some things that can only be seen in person. Every fiber in my being tells me you have a part to play in our history. Enter the portal, and I will tell you more.
These are the words you hear before you go through the portal to a new place. The air here is stale, almost smoky. No sky shows from above, and this area is dark, like being in a cave. This is the underside, under the city of Zenith. This is where your training as an agent of Zenith begins. This is also where you meet Mika. She is tasked with training all new recruits as they enter this world. If you take the time to wander around the underside, you will notice a lack of citizens. Empty stalls and housing alike. Where have all the people gone? The underside seems to be where all the engineering for the city above takes place. Machinery constantly hums, and vibrations from water and sewage pipes means this place has a constant noise. It would seem that the underside was home to the less fortunate of Zenith's citizens. This place was probably dangerous, with hounds and gangs that would kill you and not think twice. Later in the video, I'll explain my theory on where all these underside people went. But for now, let's ascend out of the darkness. As you arrive up top, you start to see people, but not as many as you would think in a city this large. As you reach the center, you can see several paths leading to various areas. From the Skywave transmissions, we learn that to the north lies office buildings and administrative buildings. This is where Mika works from as well. All around the city, there are bars, housing, and even an observatory. Zenith City, before the fracture, was the most powerful city on the continent, renowned for its many technological advancements, economic prosperity, and luxurious cityscape. Companies like the Lotus Company create different gear enhanced with essence for those adventurers leaving the city. The city itself floats on giant crystallized essence, where it draws its power from. All of this contained over a giant chasm that has never been measured. This is one of Zenith's best defenses. With only one way to the city, it can easily be defended. When the fracture occurred, the Zenithian Council decided to save the people inside the city by raising the bridge leading out. The bridge is held up by two hands that rise up out of the mist. You can't see what they are attached to, but my guess is that it's a god below the city. Only High Council members know the magical incantations to raise or lower the bridge. During the events of the fracture, the bridge was raised and the Zenithian mages created a powerful defensive bubble around Zenith, probably like the one in Queen's Path. This, of course, upset the ones trapped outside the city walls. Outside the city was constant fighting and dying from God King Ral-Ka. Because of the city's decision, several factions formed which opposed the city. One of these is known as the Exiled. Before we learn more about the Exiled, we need a basic understanding of the time frame of events. As of now, the year is close to 2732. It's been hundreds of years since the fracture, putting the year between 2232 to 2430 for around the time this event occurred. Generations of people grew up and died inside Zenith, never seeing the outside world. Generations of people lived in the skyless area of the underside. It's also been hundreds of years since Zenith opened its gates, placing the year of the fracture closer to the 2230 mark. During the time the city was closed, population count skyrocketed, forcing Zenith to release prisoners out to the plains. Most of these prisoners joined the Exiled to survive. Over hundreds of years, the Exiled never forgave Zenith and attacked its members out of anger. When Ral-Ka was sealed away, Zenith again lowered the bridge, allowing people to leave the city. This probably happened around 2530 to 2580. I believe the first people to leave the city were those from the underside. Eager for fresh food and daylight, these people were the ones farming and building the towns around the plains in Galilean Valley. My reasoning for this is the condition of the buildings. They don't appear destroyed when the fracture happened, which would have put them many hundreds of years older than the current buildings we see now. My theory is that these underside people built up those buildings, small towns, and farmed the land. At some point, there was an issue. Corrupted essence took over people, and these corrupted destroyed the towns and farms, almost completely wiping out the people outside of the city. On top of this, the city itself was attacked, further dwindling the population, forcing the council to look outwards for help defending the city. This is where you come in. You are needed to help defend this great city from any more attacks. You will adventure and help those who need it, while learning more about this strange world. Are you ready, Agent?